Video content is changing at a rapid pace and we need to talk about it. By the way, this video is sponsored by Riverside, more on them later. Let's kick off this conversation by talking about potentially the wildest rumor or news story that I've read in a long time, which probably says a lot about my reading habits. Apparently, Instagram are exploring launching their own Reels app. So a separate app to the Instagram that you know and love, potentially. A separate app that only shares Reels. Now, you might be wondering, how true is this rumor? Like, where has this come from? Well, the BBC reported on it, which tells me that this seems to be a substantiated rumor. It's still just a rumor though, because someone apparently overheard Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, talking about this idea in a meeting. It always makes me laugh because I'm like, are there spies within the Instagram headquarters? Like, what's going on? If Instagram were to create a separate app just for Reels, it would be designed to directly compete with TikTok. So the entire app would be focused on sharing and championing short form video content. Now, some people have said that because the length of Reels have increased to 3 minutes, that does justify the idea of a separate video app. Others have also said that this could be a strategic play and that Instagram might only release this separate video app in locations where TikTok has been banned. Now, obviously, at the time of me filming this, TikTok has not yet been officially banned in the US, but there's still a chance that in the future, the app may get banned. So some are suggesting that this separate app is Instagram's solution to that. I have several thoughts. None of them are that positive. I think that this would be such a risky move. I think it would massively jeopardize the performance of Instagram because Instagram have said multiple times that Reels are the most engaged content format on Instagram. So if you remove that content completely, does that not mean that the app and the engagement will drastically decrease? I know that won't be the case for everyone. There are some people out there who would love the idea of just having photos on Instagram, bring it back to the good old days, they might say. But there's also a significant risk that actually people will stop engaging with the platform altogether. This is also the case if you launch a separate video app in only certain markets like the US. What does that do to the content landscape for everyone else? Like, if we lose all of our US creators, what does Instagram look like after that? In addition to this, I can't help but think that asking people to download a separate app to view Reels is too big of an ask. I think they managed to do that with Threads, and then obviously the number of users massively dipped and now it's back on the rise. But I think trying to get people to do that again, I don't know if people are going to do it. I think they're going to lose a lot of Instagram users in the process. Now, let me just reiterate the fact that this is a concept that's still very much under discussion within Meta. So there's a big chance that this will never happen. But I do think it's such a great example of how much video content is changing online. It's changing to the point where now one of the biggest social media apps, Instagram, are actually considering creating a standalone app just for video content. Like, that's the level of power that video content holds within the social media space. Before we move on to some of the other like mind-blowing things that are happening to video content in the online space, I do want to take a quick second to talk about how you can level up your video content, because if there's one thing you're going to learn from this video, it's that video content is thriving, and if we've not learned how to leverage it properly yet, we're going to need to learn how to leverage it in the future. One of my absolute favorite tools when it comes to recording and editing video content is Riverside. If you're not familiar with Riverside already, it's essentially an online studio for high quality video recording and editing. What I love about Riverside is that it has a whole suite of tools which make it super easy for you to create high quality content quickly and efficiently. Let me show you a couple of these tools now. One of my favorite tools that I want to show you is called Magic Clips. It basically allows you to repurpose your long form video content into short vertical clips, and it utilizes AI to ensure that it's finding the most engaging part of your video to actually cut down. Not only that though, but it actually allows you to edit these clips to ensure that they're as engaging as possible. And that is the key thing here. It's not always enough just to cut down your long form content. Sometimes you need to tweak it to improve it too. So in order to use Magic Clips, you just have to hit the generate button here. Update or change the settings. I'm just going to hit generate clips, wait a few minutes, and then the clips will appear on the screen. Once you've done that, you can select the clip that you like the most and it will open up this editing window. From here, you'll be able to edit the clip further, either by using the text editor, where you can select parts of the video where you've said certain words and you can just delete those words and it will update the video footage itself, or you can use the editing section on the bottom to clean up the video as well. You're also able to do several things like add captions, add images, add a border. You can really customize the clip so that the end result is exactly how you like it. Please ignore the fact that I decided to add a photo of a dog to that. I don't know why I decided to add a photo of a dog to that video, just to show you that you can really make it your own, you know? So if you want to get started using some of those tools that I showed you, plus loads of their other tools, head to the link in my description and use code Jade Beason when you're upgrading your plan to get 15% off. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other trends happening to video content and how it's just changing the landscape completely. For this one, I want to talk about a platform that I never speak about, but that you're potentially going to hear more about from me, LinkedIn. Yes, I'm as surprised as you are. In fact, I've recently made my LinkedIn debut. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because LinkedIn has fully entered the video chat. Let me break this down for you. Right now, it feels like LinkedIn is in this infancy place when it comes to video content. And by me sharing this with you, I'm probably going to annoy a lot of other creators because it feels like the industry's best kept secret at the moment. LinkedIn have recently made it possible for you to upload video content onto their platform. And as with most social media platforms, when a new feature like this enters the space, it's going to get pushed out more and more to encourage more people to use it, which means that right now is an amazing time for you to actually start your video content career on LinkedIn. By the way, feel free to follow me. I will put a link in my description. Plug, plug, plug. So LinkedIn actually began testing dedicated video posts back in March 2024, which really wasn't a long time ago, which explains why it's suddenly starting to pick up pace at the time of me filming this video. Now, since October 2024, video viewership has increased by 36%. That wasn't even that long ago, guys. Imagine how much it's going to increase over the next year or so. In addition to this, and this stat really blew my mind, video content creation on LinkedIn is growing at twice the rate of other formats. So it's quickly becoming the dominant form of content on LinkedIn. In addition to this, studies have found that LinkedIn videos are actually showing a higher engagement rate and a longer lifespan than other short form video platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Plus, and I know this is the thing that you really want to hear, brand spending on influencer campaigns on LinkedIn is increasing at a rapid rate. All of this is making a perfect storm, okay? We are in a position where video content is thriving on LinkedIn. And if you were ever considering becoming a LinkedIn creator, like that is part of your strategy, now is the time. Just gonna say it again, do not forget to follow me. Okay, I'm just going to pop my LinkedIn on the screen just one more time, just in case you forgot to follow me before we keep it moving. Another huge trend coming to video content creation, which is changing the landscape, and this is one that I've spoken about a few times before, but it's honestly one of my favorite trends at the moment, is that YouTube is becoming a streaming platform. I know. Now, if you've watched some of my recent videos, you'll know this stat already. And the stat is that YouTube viewership on the TV overtook Netflix last year. So more people watch YouTube on the TV than they watch Netflix on the TV. Mind-boggling. In fact, for the average YouTube creator, between 30 to 40% of their views are coming from people watching them on TV. And I think a lot of us aren't aware of this. Even when you hear that initial trend of YouTube becoming a streaming platform, people are watching it on TV more, you still might think to yourself, yeah, but they're not watching my videos on TV. That's exactly what I thought, and they are. In fact, in the last 3 months, 18% of my viewers watch my videos on the TV screen. If you are currently or have previously watched my videos on the TV screen, can you comment TV or the TV emoji below? Because I'd love to use that as a quick sense check as to how accurate those numbers are. But 18% for a channel that currently only shares content where I'm just speaking to the screen. No, I said currently because I will be implementing a different style of content in the future. But for a channel like mine to have 18% of my viewers watching me on TV is wild. Imagine what those numbers look like for people who vlog or create more TV quality content, right? YouTube is also making a bunch of updates to their TV app to facilitate this rush of viewing on the TV. For example, creators will soon be able to create series for their content so that when people are viewing their content on the TV screen, they actually see it broken down by series and by episode. Very similar structure and format to what you would be used to on other streaming platforms, which is why I titled this trend, YouTube is becoming a streaming platform, because that is what they're positioning themselves as now. That is the realm that they're moving into. And that is a huge change when it comes to video content. That means that creators out there who want to produce that high quality long form content, this is your time. Not only is it your time to share short form video content, but it's also your time to share long form video content. It's just wild how many opportunities are coming to creators who lean into video. Another trend that I want to touch on when it comes to video content creation is all about Snapchat. Specifically, the fact that Snapchat has become a cash cow for video creators. I met some creators recently who were telling me either about their Snapchat or about a friend's Snapchat that is making them between 5 to 6 figures a month.
What do you mean?
That is how much creators are getting paid on Snapchat, guys. One of them was literally making over £100,000 a month on Snapchat. Wild. Snapchat is a different ballpark when it comes to video content or just content overall, because Snapchat is a volume game. For people to see success on Snapchat, not only do they need to have an engaged audience, but they also just need to be sharing a huge amount of content every single day. A great example of this, and one that's discussed quite often, is Khloe Kardashian's Snapchat. I've not seen it personally myself, but apparently it's like all over the place. It's just like random photos, random videos. It's clearly not being shared by her, but by someone in her team. But the fact is, guys, it's working. There's a reason why she's uploading hundreds of pieces of content every single day and half of it is not even captured in real time. She's doing it because people are viewing it and she's earning an absolute fortune from it. So this is a small but important trend because it signals a new way for video creators to earn a significant amount of money. Last but certainly not least, but definitely the most negative of the bunch, The TikTok ban. I felt like it would be weird for me not to touch on this because in all honesty, I haven't spoken about this ban on this channel since my original video, which was all about what to do if TikTok gets banned. And it made me laugh because about 2 weeks before the first TikTok ban, that video like suddenly blew up and everyone was watching it. I will link to it above because I still think it's super relevant. The reason why I think it's still relevant, guys, is because there's still a risk of TikTok being banned in the US. And if TikTok does get banned in the US, it will impact all of us. I also have a video on that as well, which I'll also link above. The current state of play at the time of me filming this video is that negotiations have stalled. In addition to this, the proposal to extend the deadline, which will give TikTok more time to figure out whether it's going to sell off its US arm or whether it's going to retreat from the US completely, is currently stuck in limbo too. So the proposal was to extend the deadline by 270 days, but as of the time of me filming this, it's kind of stuck in limbo and no one's approved it. The good news is that Oracle is apparently a top contender to actually purchase the US arm of TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, I was quite surprised that TikTok is even considering going down this route. I'm not going to pretend to understand the US legal system and the ins and outs of how this works, mostly because I'm British. I don't know if you can tell, but let's not even pretend that I would understand if this was happening in England. Law is not within my zone of genius, but I was surprised because TikTok has such a huge user base outside of the US that part of me thought that they'd potentially just retreat from the US and kind of focus on their other markets. I am pleased to hear that there is a potential way out for this. Just like most people, I would love for TikTok to remain in the US, not only because I don't want to lose the US creators that I follow, but also because it will massively impact me as a content creator, even though I'm based in the UK. It could potentially mean that the UK follows and eventually bans TikTok as well. It would also mean that a lot of brand investment for TikTokers would also reduce, even if you're not based in the US. And overall, it would just have a negative impact on the creator economy. Now, obviously, at the time of me recording this, I can't predict what's going to happen, but regardless of whether it remains in the US or whether it's eventually banned, the fact that this is even a topic of discussion is huge and will massively impact the landscape of video content creation across the board. If it's banned in the US, best believe that Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all of those channels will be massively affected. Okay, my loves, if you feel like checking out Riverside, don't forget to click on the link in my description and use code Jade Beason when you upgrade your plan to get 15% off. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's basically my honest advice for existing content creators, for up and coming content creators. There's some controversial stuff in there, but I think it's important conversations for us all to have. So it's definitely worth watching. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I cannot wait to see you in my next video.